If a salesperson sells their product or service for as little as £1 less than their lowest price, they're telling a lie. To learn more about the 10 rules on negotiation, just watch this short video. And welcome to the Sharper Business channel. Some buyers are analytical, some are assertive, and some just like to get along with people. But whatever the characteristics of your buyer, for you to be successful in negotiation, you must comply with the 10 rules on negotiation, which are as follows. Number 1, decide on your brand. Long before you get into the negotiation, decide beforehand what is the image you want to project. What is the reputation you want in the marketplace long term? Just as think about this transaction alone, think about your reputation in the marketplace long term. Pricing will be discussed for certain, but it's your reputation that's on the line. And what's important is your integrity, your honesty, and your transparency. These become critically important to the negotiations. Number 3, it's not about one-upmanship or victory. Because the problem with victory is there's always a loser. And we don't want to enter negotiations thinking like that. It is not about victory. You should not be thinking of victory. You should be thinking about success by all means of explaining your product and service and the justification for your terms and your pricing. People prefer to do business with people that they like, they know and they trust. And whilst buyers will frequently tell us the only thing that matters is the price, that's not true. There are other issues which are also very important. And it's important that you understand that as you get into negotiations, that you apply your mind by getting to like, know, and trust the buyer in the hope of giving them that respect that they might do the same for you. Be subtle when you're ready to walk away. It's quite appropriate in the negotiations that you may well say to the buyer that you respect the fact that they have budgets and targets and standards, and there may well come a moment when they have to walk away, which of course the same thing would apply to you and your company. But you're going to do everything you can to avoid that situation happening. Question why they've made the reduced offer. When a buyer suggests a significant reduction in the price, it is quite reasonable to ask them how they justify that, how they got to that price, because you may well learn something rather than making some assumption that all they want is reduced price, when in fact it could well be a misunderstanding of your product or your service. Reduced price demands a trade-off. When you agree to a reduced price, it has to be on the basis of a concession of some sort, and that there has to be a reason, a justification for you giving the reduced price. Because if you just give the reduced price because they asked for it, they will never know when this story is going to end. So any reduction in the price that you've asked for must be justified. Write their victory speech for them. It's important that you bear in mind that whilst there may just be two of you in the negotiations, that your buyer, when they leave the negotiations, will have somebody that they're going to talk to, whether it is a colleague or a boss or a board or whoever it is, and they will want to explain how well they've done in negotiations. You should help them with that speech. By helping them, by giving the reasons why you've reduced the price, the justification, it's important. It's also important you bear in mind when you write to the prospect or the buyer after the meeting, when you agree the price, that you explain how you've justified the reduction. Buyers want to be assertive, analytical, and get along with people. It's important. And very often it's obvious which one of these characteristics the buyer falls into. But don't be afraid to acknowledge that they will also be assuming two of the other roles as well. Your pricing must contain a profit margin, which is not a secret. It's important that when you talk to the prospect and the buyer about your pricing, and you may well have talked about your discount that you give for loyalty, a discount perhaps for a new customer, a discount for end of season, whatever discount you've given. But you have to justify your price, your asking price. And it is quite reasonable to say to the buyer, let me explain how we got to this price. You see, Mr. Prospect, my company has a target of making some 6% net profit each year. And that means that for every £1 you spend with my company, we'll be spending 94 pence on your behalf. And depending on how you are in the negotiations, you may well choose to list your company's costs. Not itemize them in percentage terms, but it's simple to justify that there is a price and a cost to your product or service. In this video, you have learned the 10 golden rules on negotiation. And to learn more on the 4 strategies on how best to apply these rules, keep tuned to this channel. In the meantime, give us a like. Let us have your thoughts and comments below. And to join our community, just hit the subscribe button to be notified of future videos on this Sharper Business channel. And thank you for viewing.